Hi everyone, I'm Rita Kakati-Shah, your host for the Uma Show. Welcome to your one-stop journey for feeling empowered. We're a platform for change. We build confidence. We are your voice. We want you to be bold, be you, be Uma. Today, we're exploring enterprising women, and I'm so excited to be joined by a goddess of go-getting, Rachna Nath, who is a NASA Solar System Ambassador, entrepreneur, a STEM enthusiast, and educator from Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome, Rachna. It's so lovely to see you again.
Thank you so much, Rita. It's wonderful to be here, and I'm really, really humbled. So thank you.
Of course. Well, I mean, you're a fellow Assamese, now living in Phoenix, Arizona. Tell us a bit about your upbringing and how you grew up.
Well, actually, I am from, my mom is from Sibsagar. My dad's from Bojali, which is in Lower Assam, so Upper Assam, Lower Assam thing. But I grew up in Guwahati. I'm the eldest of three siblings, my sister and my brother. They're younger to me. And again, it was an environment where we were never differentiated, being whether you're a boy or a girl. I'm the eldest daughter of the oldest son of 7 siblings. You know how that goes, and all responsibilities, and
yeah.
Everybody used to look up to me, and I was not one of most of the role models. So it was stressful, but again, it is a very nice atmosphere to be bringing up it all with cousins and family and friends together, joint family. It was fun. I used to play cricket with my boy cousins because I was more of a tomboy kind of thing, but it was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah.
So.
No, I love that. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. And you're right. I like the times when I used to go back to Assam, certainly in my younger years, back to Guwahati, back to Hualkusi, there was nothing that matches that warmth that you get from just being with your family and that love. So I totally hear you when you mention those stories there.
No,
so,
no, I mean, very, very nice memories of my grandparents too.
Yeah.
Because my mom's a working woman and spent so much time with grandparents. That's a blessing too. So
absolutely, yeah. So now you're actually a honeybee scientist with 2 master's degrees. What is honeybee science all about?
So I came to US in 2003 and I joined a PhD program in 2014 at ASU. And I actually am an entomologist. My first master's was in entomology, which is insect science. And when I started my PhD, I was very fortunate to be working with honeybees. And, it's honeybee science is relating to, so honeybee is used as a role model organism, and we do all kinds of experiments on bees. The one that I was working on was pheromones. So pheromones are chemical communicators that signals one bee to the other, and the queen bee, which is the queen of 50 to 60,000 bees, actually control the entire hive just using chemical communication. And I was looking at the chemical communication of the bees and how they are controlled by some of the glands in our head. So we have the salivary glands. So that's what I was working on, and how that interaction happens, and how she, being just one queen in one hive at one time, can control so many activities around the hive because everything is under her control. So again, honeybee science is about my students doing some work on caffeine addiction, and the neurotransmitters that are associated with honeybees, they're very similar to humans. So we can study those kind of phenomena on honeybees and relate it to human beings and seeing what kind of neural pathways work. So honeybee science is phenomenal. The honeybee models have been used to solve computer problems.
Wow.
And especially with insects, there's a whole bunch of science called biomimicry, and the bees and the insects are used as modeling organisms for studying very complex problems in the universe. And one of the biggest things that they're looking at is the way a drone gets pulled down into a stationary mode, and the organism that they're following is a beetle. So insects are studied widely in all different, and you won't even imagine where it goes into. So biomimicry is one thing that a lot of honeybee science is about. So And
Yeah. I mean,
I
that's just
love working with that. I love getting stung by bees. That was one of my idiosyncrasies.
wow. Yeah.
So yeah, so it's fantastic. I just can't. I feel very happy when I talk about it, when I get stung by a bee. So that's weird.
Yeah,
So,
no, that is fascinating work. I love that, you know. Tell us a bit now about your love of helping to encourage entrepreneurship in the next generation, because I know that is something you spend a lot of your energy on these days. You partner with the community and you patent their ideas. That is brilliant. Just tell us about that.
so I'm going to take off from the last question. So I started PhD here 2014, but unfortunately, I could not finish it because my professor left for Germany. So as fate would have it, I ended up being a high school teacher. So now I'm a high school teacher, but I was just going through my spam folder 2017, and there was an email from Lemels and MIT. So MIT uh, collaborates with Lemelsons, who are one of the biggest inventors, like after Edison, and they give these $10,000 grants to high school students for innovative idea for a real world problem. And I started talking about that with my students, and I realized that, oh my God, these ideas that they are putting forward are incredible. So I had them do some research, background research on, is there something that is similar to what their idea is?
Yeah.
And then the whole process fell into place. So you have to do a background research. You have to figure out what you want to do after ideation. So I call this whole system of work that I started with my kids as Triple, which is Dream, Research, Innovate, Project-Based Learning, because I know project-based learning is a big thing, but most of these project-based learnings don't go anywhere. So I gave my students a purpose using these grants, saying that hey, there are $10,000 available, $15,000, $20, and that is a big number for little kids, especially 9th and 10th graders. And as of now, in 3.5 years, using those grants, we have been able to have two non-provisional patents, which is patent pending, and 4 provisional patents, which are all the kids' ideas. And I just drive them to this entrepreneurial goal, saying that whatever you're doing, do it for a purpose, do it to pay it forward, do it in a way that it matters to you, and you can make a difference in this world. So that is what I do as a high school teacher. Never thought I'm going to be a high school teacher in my entire life, but it just gives me so much of happiness.
Yeah.
To see these kids getting their business established, working with patent lawyers, working with LLCs, it's phenomenal.
And you're really empowering them on their journey, because had it not been for that push, they may not have even gone there or think, oh, I have an idea, but oh, whatever, So you're actually pushing that. Okay, you have an idea, let's start with that, and you're pushing them to that next level.
Yes.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And the students do science fairs all the time. And I remember somebody asked me, what do they do after science fair? And I had no answer, because science fairs are just science fairs. They win awards and that's it. But to create an idea and to push it forward all the way to a goal that establishes a successful business, that was something that I really enjoy now. So my kids know that, oh, Miss Nath, let's go to her. So.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And due to your work, you've actually had a lot of recognition. You are actually internationally and nationally recognized innovator. You're also a NASA solar system ambassador. Talk to us about being that innovator and your work with NASA.
So I actually got involved with NASA through an application process. It's a volunteer program where we professionals from all over different fields, we just volunteer for NASA, and we say that, hey, whatever you guys are doing, we're going to just reach out to people and give them the resources that NASA usually does not do a public thing. So we are the communication between NASA and the people, and so let's sort of outreach, but it's an intensive application process, and I'm really grateful that with using that brand ambassador thing, you can reach out to so many people and give the resources that NASA has to all these kids that they don't even know about, that they can't even think about. So especially with the ingenuity coming in with landing on Mars, it was a phenomenal experience just to have them witness that process, because as a NASA ambassador, I was able to connect to the NASA platform and have them streamline live to that. So those are some things that students do not ever think about. To be able to do that, I feel really fortunate. And about innovation, I don't know. It just came. It's all my students, and I always tell them that without a good push, without a good family of students, you cannot do anything by yourself. And I feel that all the accolades that I have gotten is all student driven. Yes, I do direct them, but all of these are for them. So, and I feel I take it in a way that the more I get connected to the network of people that I have, the more opportunities my students get, and that's the reason why I network a lot.
So, I love that. Yeah, now that's brilliant, because it actually shows that you're not just doing something that actually helps yourself and you're meeting more people and getting more exposure. You're actually helping people, and that is your passion coming out. So yeah. Now I'm actually I'm going to switch gear a little bit, because obviously we know how accomplished you are in your work. You're also a very talented dancer, and you actually run your own dance school, the Sangeeta Nutya Academy. Talk to us about that.
So my dance guru is from Nizorapar, Guwahati, Sangeeta Hazarika. I started learning dance when I was in 5th grade. And her husband, Shantikam Hazarika, and the 2 kids, they actually are part of our lives. I remember the days when I was in 8th, 9th class, and I would just walk to dance school, and she would have food in her refrigerator for us, after school, in which we would start dance. And my dance school is an honor or a dedication to my dance teacher back in India. So the dance school also is Sangeeta Nutya Academy, and I started a small dance school here in Chandler, Arizona, that is dedicated to her. It's named after her. And it's just my way of paying it forward to her, because, dance is not just dance. It's a mixture of everything and anything that you learn with it. Rita, because, you learn respect, you learn tolerance, you learn cooperation, you learn teamwork. And all of those does not come without you being present in a particular situation, right? But nowadays, the students are afraid of failures. Yeah. We have been brought up in failures, and we are not afraid to fail. But what I see with these students is they're so afraid to fail, and they feel distraught and discouraged. And I'm like, no, those are your stepping stones. Just continue going forward and just dream big. And the moment you dream and stick to your dream, everything that happens to you everything that you dream becomes a reality. You just have to work for it. And that's what I learned from my dance teacher back in Guwahati. And, every time I think about that family, they have given me so much. Even uncle, my dance teacher's uncle, husband, he is one of the very prominent figures in Assam. But whenever I go there or I meet him or I talk over the phone, he is always so encouraging, always so giving, always so, receiving, because you have to receive to be able to give. And very, very, encouraging in every single thing that he does. And it just makes me feel wonderful that I have this family behind me that believes in me and trusts me. And that's the reason why my dance school is what I give forward to. The students that I have, I want to give them the same principles that I learned from my dance teacher and and the family, and that's what this is. And I have kids as young as 6-year-olds, and when I miss a class, they're sad. Like, why? I remember in Diwali, I had to cancel class because of then this little girl, she actually had got new piles, like the anklets from her mom, and she wanted to show it to me, and she was very disappointed that I didn't know I had to cancel class. I'm like, I'm so sorry. But again, that's the connection that I try for, Anybody can teach. Anybody can teach dance. Anybody can teach music. Anybody can. But the the things that comes with it, that is actually more that makes you humane and, humble and polite. And that's what I try for, actually.
Yeah, no, I love that. Everything you've said really resonates, because when I was younger, I learned Bharatanatyam and Hotria. So same kind of thing. I would say that everything that you just mentioned about dance and future life was taught to me in dancing. There were these exercises that we had to do and like sit and certain way and just pose. And we were sometimes just sitting for half an hour and you think, oh my gosh, you were in pain, you were in agony. We had to have a book on our head and it had to balance all this sort of thing. At the time, you don't realize it when you're young. You're just, oh my gosh, this is torture. But as you grow up, this teaches you resilience. It teaches you patience. It forces you to learn something about yourself. It pushes you out of your comfort zone. Absolutely. And to your point, you are not scared of failing at that point. No. But what it does teach you, it shows you that you are more aware of your own body, what you're more likely to succeed in, and what you might have to work more on. There were things, we all had different abilities. If I wasn't good at one thing, I had to work on it. If somebody else wasn't good, they had to work on that. And that's something I think, to your point, people sometimes are lacking these days, because there's a lot of, for lack of a better word, a sense of entitlement sometimes. And also everybody is a winner, sometimes you feel. And because of that, you don't understand life. And when you get out of your comfort zone, people just don't know how to react. They don't know how to emotionally process that. And I think that's part of the things that your background and in ways my background showed us, and people that come from a sports background too, very, very similar. You learn these sort of life philosophies from a young age, which is so valuable. So I love that,
No, and again, you know what? It's not about when you are in kindergarten, you win something, everything is on Facebook, And I never remember my mom saying, I'm so proud of Rachna. And at one point I was to think, like, what am I doing wrong? Why is she not because the encouragement comes different ways and it's not vocal all the time. And those appreciations, those encouragements are always there in the love that you see from your teacher towards you. It doesn't have to be vocal all the time. So I completely agree with you. So
yeah. Just to kind of like switch track a little bit. I mean, obviously you, as a very accomplished woman, in STEM in particular, and very artistic as well, you must have felt some sort of barriers or challenges along the way. Tell us about something that you might have faced, and how did you deal with that?
Well, I'll tell you about something, 2 examples. One was, I consider myself a failure when it comes to meeting the expectations of my mom and my dad, right? So I always wanted to be a doctor. And being in India, born in the 1970s, you are expected to be a doctor if you're a girl, and a boy if you're an engineer if you're a boy. I always wanted to be one of the doctors. And then all of a sudden, I suddenly realized that, and this was around my 12th grade, I decided, no doctor. And that was a huge blow to my family. It was a humongous blow to my family. And, but I just kept on thriving and pushing my boundaries, because I am not a normal child. When you say a normal child means she'll listen to the parents and do exactly what they say. I was not that. I was very challenging, and my parents, I feel bad for them, but they had to spend a lot of brain power in raising me. And one of the challenges that I faced when I came to the US was, I was on an H4, and I did not have a job. And I'm not the kind of a woman who would sit at home and do nothing. So I just started looking for jobs, and having a master's back in India, nobody knew me here in the US. So nobody was willing to give me a job. So what I realized after like 9-10 months of applying 10-15 jobs a day, that I was overqualified. Having a master's here in US is overqualified. So I changed my credentials to a bachelor's and started applying, and still nothing. So I decided to end up volunteering. So I ended up volunteering at St. Luke's Medical Hospital, anywhere and everywhere I could find. The surgical room, the emergency room, the cafeteria, the front desk. And then one lady just came up to me and said, "Do you want a job?" I'm like, "Wait, what?" I did not apply for one. So people are watching. People look what you're doing. People are observing. So she
Yes.
came and said, "Hey, if you have a work permit, you can join as a cafeteria cashier." And that was my first job in US.
Yeah.
But again, since then, I also started working as a faculty at the community colleges here. In 2014, again, same situation. Nobody knew me, so nobody was willing to give me a job. I wanted to get into a PhD program, so I started volunteering again, made sure that people see me and see what I can do. And then I got into a PhD after 13 years of my first master's. And that's always because I did not do my doctorate, my medical then. Subconsciously, I was still feeling that I need to become a doctor. And it was funny. I got into the PhD program, and 2 years after that, my professor said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I cannot keep you. I'm moving to Germany, and there are 3 students in my lab, not just me, who were just left like that, just left alone." And so I ended up, and I consider that as my second failure, because even after 13 years of my first master's, I could not finish my PhD. So those are my obstacles. But what I had seen is that through my obstacles, I have found a way, because I know what I want to be. Maybe in future I will go back and get a PhD or whatever, but my dream is my dream alone, you know? And I feel very happy that I remember when I got the Presidential Award and the Global Innovation Award, that day my dad told me that, "Rachna, if you would have done medicine, you would not have been able to get this accolade." And I'm like, "Oh my God."
Finally, you're like,
Because,
finally.
yeah, and I was subconsciously carrying that in my mind, and I did not even realize how much those words meant to me. And I felt blessed. I feel that, wow, uh, something just lifted off my shoulders, and it's life is good. You know,
Yeah,
challenges. There
I
will
love
be
that.
always challenges. Challenges are part of life. If there's no challenges, there's no fun. But then you have to rise above them and just continue to push and push and push. And if
Absolutely.
people call you weird, people call you absurd, people call you abnormal, let them call them what they, but you know what you want to be, and you just have to try forward. That's it.
Totally. And I think that's the important lesson you just really talked about, that for so long, and so many of us, we always strive to do what we perceive others want us to do.
Right.
But when we actually reflect and look into ourselves, that's when the magic happens. That's
Exactly.
when, for the first time, we actually put less pressure, because we enjoy things more. The minute we think, what is it I want to do and enjoy, that's where it
Yes.
leads. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And believe in
those of
yourself. Believe
absolutely.
in
Yeah,
yourself.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've done such incredible work that, as you've mentioned, you've won awards. To name a few, you got the Governor's Celebration of
Oh my God.
Innovation 2020, the Global Innovation Award from Turnitin 2019, the honorable mention for the Presidential Innovation Award for Environment Educators in the United States, and 2 Excite Awards from Lemelson MIT Foundation. You're an honorary member of the Imaginary College at the Center for Science and Imagination at ASU, alongside other world-renowned philosophers. Incredible work there. What's next on the horizon for you, Rachna?
I don't know, Rita. You know, anywhere that my kids are going to drive me towards. And when I say kids, it's my students. You know, and yes, you do have a goal in your mind. But when I think of the next 5 years, I think of more innovation. I think of pushing my kids beyond that horizon where no other students have been. You know, for example, you know, just not just doing a science project, but going beyond, working with National Geographic, working with UNICEF, working with world leaders, patenting their ideas, making their visions their goal. That's what I see myself. And these goals are not just for myself, but for my students, where they see themselves in a very different light than just high school students. Because the common conception that we have about high school students is, oh, they're high school students, they're so cute, they're so, oh, they made something? Wow. Why is that? Why don't people think that high school students or even younger ones have that capability to think beyond their boundaries and come up with innovative solutions where a lot of scientists have not even thought about. It's about the mindset. It's about going deep inside you and understanding who you are.
Yes.
And that is something that you don't need education for. You just need to have self-realization of what you really want to do with proper background research and proper knowledge and reading. Even a 6-year-old, even a 7-year-old, even a 15-year-old can make a huge change in this world. Absolutely. So that is what I see myself, doing, and just bringing that out in the kids. So
I love that. And that is the true words of a really passionate educator. I love that. Tell us a little bit about the free time that you have. What do you like to do with your family?
Okay, so recently we have been watching a lot of series in Netflix. Yes. We try to get off our computers at least by 9 o'clock at night, have at least an hour of family time. Just sitting, relaxing. It's very funny. My son's 13 and my daughter's 15, and they go on either side of my body. I'm on the couch, and my husband's on my side. It's just relaxing, because you need that moment of doing nothing. Because what I also see in these kids is that they get bored.
Yes.
What do I do? What do I do? I don't have anything to do. I'm like, just relax, just sit, read a book, or just do nothing. People have forgotten to do nothing.
Yes.
They always need engagement, which your brain needs to reboot. And when you sleep, you need to be sleeping soundly. So I think that downtime is what I usually do with my kids and my husband. Other than that, just going for a walk, sitting for a quick read with my kids. A little bit of playing here and there. We play chess a lot. Chinese checkers. I love the Chinese where you jump from one. And that's, again, a creative process of how are you going to build a bridge to reach your destination, So small things. And it's just being with my family. And I don't get enough time with my family. I understand that. But whatever I try, I try to get that time. And the downtime from 9 to 10 or 9 to 10:30 every single day.
Yeah.
My kids sometimes doesn't like it because that's when they get the time to play. I'm like, no.
This is our time now. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Any last words of wisdom you'd like to share with our audience today? Any young girls that might be watching that want to follow in your footsteps?
I don't know about following my footsteps. I want them to follow their own footsteps, their own shadow. Remember, if nobody else is with you, your shadow is always with you. And your shadow is with you when the sun's on the top of your head, which means you are you. So don't let anybody talk you down. Don't let anybody distract you from your dream, because you are the only person who can make your dream come true.
Absolutely.
And if you don't know what your dream is, do what you love and just be happy and don't care about people. Of course, when I say don't care about people, listen to your parents, with kids. But I truly feel that whatever you want is deep within your heart, and you'll find it one day, either through luck, either through destiny, either through your parents, but you will. And just enjoy what you're doing. So, yeah, that's all.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Rachna, for sharing your incredible journey with us today. Rachna Nath, NASA Solar System Ambassador, entrepreneur, STEM enthusiast, and educator. And thank you to our viewers for joining us on this empowerment journey today. We want you all to embrace the inner goddess of go-getting. We want you to be bold, be you, be Uma.